This is Red Podcast, episode number 229. I just got a dog, took him to a dog trainer, walked out with some lesson on how to train your customers. That's coming up.
This is the Red Podcast. How to reach more people, establish your authority, and deliver your message. Here's your host, David Hooper.
My wife's doing a marketing project trying to promote rescue dogs. And she gets on petfinder.com, which is a site, kind of like a clearinghouse for dogs available for adoption. All the rescues go to petfinder.com, upload the dogs that they have there. It's kind of like match.com, I guess, except for dogs. You can find a dog to adopt. So if you're interested in a dog to adopt, petfinder.com is a great place. We were not interested in a dog to adopt. We've already got a dog. 15 years old. He's a special needs dog. He gets dialysis. He's blind. Really cool dog. And probably on his way out. We're keeping him going. He's doing great. We didn't really need another dog. But she sees a listing for a dog who kind of looks like the one that we've got, but about 15 years younger. And she said, David, look at this. Looks like Samba. We should go meet him. And that's how it started. She set up an appointment, 8 a.m. on a Sunday. And it turns out this dog is about an hour west of town in a little bitty place called Bucksnort, Tennessee. And I said, no. You need to think about this. It's an hour west of town. We've already got a dog. He's on dialysis. I don't know that we can do this. We're too busy right now. She's like, well, I've already set up the appointment. We got to go. So we drive an hour west to Bucksnort, Tennessee. Dog is cool. He's a German Shepherd Hound mix. He's quiet. He's friendly. What the hell will take him? Look, I just assumed this dog was going to have a collar. He did not. And thankfully, we had a slip collar because in my neighborhood, dogs get loose all the time. It's a busy urban neighborhood. We've seen dogs get hit. So I carry a couple of extra slip collars with me in my car just in case I see a dog, I can rescue it, make sure another dog doesn't get hit. So use the slip collar. We're driving back. We need to get some supplies. For one, this dog needs a collar, but he also needs food. We didn't really have a plan to come home with the dog, but now he's in the back of the car and we're driving back. Got to get him hooked up. So she looks up on Yelp, finds a PetSmart. There's one on the way home. It's open. Got my slip collar, got the dog, got her, go inside PetSmart. And immediately, the dog is a hound, right? So he's sniffing everything. And then he hikes his leg. I was like, no, this dog didn't even have a name. So I yanked him. Come on out. We're going right back outside. Because, PetSmart, they let you take the dogs in. They've got a cleanup station. But I didn't want to be that guy who immediately has his dog hike his leg and take a whiz on everything. So I take him outside. So I get outside. This is one of those strip malls. It's next to a Costco. It's like a Staples there. There was a Dollar Tree next door. Big concrete block, big parking lot. But there are these little bitty trees. I take him over to one of the trees. And not only does he have to pee, he squats and takes a huge dump. It was like a mountain. Steam was coming off of it. And I'm out there with my dog that has no name. I just got him about 30 minutes ago. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. I've got no bags to pick this thing up. And right then, all the judgment that I've ever had for underbehaved kids when I go to the grocery store, it went out the window because I'm in front of a PetSmart with a brand new dog sitting next to dog shit mountain. And I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking to myself, what have we done? Woman comes out of PetSmart. I ask her, do you happen to have any poop bags on you? She said, no, but I've got this little bag that you could use. And it's a tiny bag. It looked like it might have had jewelry or something in it. I said, no, that's not going to be enough. I motioned down what the dog had just done. And she looks at it, and she feels so bad for me. She takes the stuff she's just purchased out of the bag that they gave her at PetSmart, and she gives me that bag. I take the bag, I thank her. I reach over to pick everything up. And the next thing you know, my dog is running loose around the parking lot of PetSmart. This slip collar, it didn't grab like a normal collar. I wasn't thinking. I was in a rush. I was embarrassed. Dog backs out of it. He's gone. As I mentioned just a minute ago, one of the things that I've done is picked up a few loose dogs when I've seen them around the neighborhood. And one of the lessons that I've learned is that you never chase a dog because dogs think that it's a game. And if you chase them, they're going to keep running. So when the dog's running loose, he's running toward Dollar Tree. There's a guy walking in Dollar Tree. I'm like, oh, God, please, for the love of God, go in there or something, because at least I know he's going to be safe. And I yell out to the dude. I say, hey, that's my dog. Please don't chase him, but if he comes to you, grab him. And this dude looks at me like I'm crazy, doesn't say anything. And I walk over across the parking lot to the Dollar Tree where my dog is headed. And one of the things that I'd seen Laurel do when we picked up a dog one time is she leaned down to the dog's level. And I leaned down when I was on the same sidewalk that he was on out of the street. And I'm praying to Jesus, Buddha, Allah, every deity that I can think of. Please let this dog come back to me. And he does. That was the first hour with my dog. And the very next day, I called a dog trainer and set up lessons for him and me to make sure that this didn't happen again. This is the Red Podcast, the podcast for experts. If you want to make more money with your specialized knowledge, if you've got a message that you want to spread and make people care about, this is the podcast for you. On this episode, lessons for your business from the dog trainer. You can learn a lot about your customers through working with dogs. This episode brought to you by createyourlist.com. If you want to build your list quickly, I've got a free resource for you. It's the best practices, the things that are working right now to grow a big mailing list. Because what worked 6 months ago, it's not working now. Things change when it comes to building a mailing list. But the one thing that has not changed is email marketing still works. To get this free resource, go to createyourlist.com. Do it now before you forget. createyourlist.com. While I've rescued quite a number of dogs over the last few years, I do not know a lot about dog training, or I didn't until going to see this trainer with my new dog. The old dog, like I said, 15 years old. By the time I met him, he's about 10 years old. He came to me trained. And at this point, blind, kidneys are failing, doesn't move a whole lot. And because of that, I don't have to worry about him running off. I know exactly where he is right now. So this was a new thing for me to work with what's basically a puppy, my new dog Parker, about 18 months old. He's got a lot of energy. That first week, it was really tough, honestly. I thought that maybe we had made a mistake. He was in a shelter with 30 other dogs. This woman rescues about 30 dogs at a time. She lives on a big farm out in the middle of nowhere. And she's doing an amazing thing. Does about 20 to 30 adoptions every month. But she's got dogs coming in, dogs coming out. Really didn't spend a lot of time with them. And it's not unlike customers that you may have. Sometimes as marketers, as business people, as experts, sometimes we get caught up with the numbers game. If you go to createyourlist.com, one of the things that they talk about is starting with your first 1,000 people. Well, 1,000 people, that's enough for you to have a great business. We get caught up thinking 80,000, 90,000. Some people talk about having 500,000 people on their mailing list. Well, are you really having that kind of a relationship with your customers like you need to do in order to have a successful business? Sure. When you've got 500,000 people on your mailing list, that's a numbers game. Your marketing doesn't have to be very good. 1%, 0.5%. You can make a pretty good living. But what happens when you're just starting out? What happens when you're building a brand new mailing list? Or you've got a new venture. You're having to start from scratch. You've got 1,000 people. Well, in that case, you've got to get good at your marketing. You've got to get good at having relationships with your customers. That's what this episode is about. You know, one of the things that I learned from my dog trainer, it's the importance of ritual. Ritual is defined as a sequence of behaviors. It can be spoken, it can be performed. With a dog, for example, if I do something, he knows what comes next. If I get his lead and I walk toward the door, he knows that he's going to go out with me. And that concept, it works in a very similar way for your customers. People like ritual. They like to know what's coming next. Think about this podcast. There's a sequence of events. I tease the episode. I'll let you know what's coming up. There's the guy who comes in, Red Podcast. He introduces me. Tell you a personal story. There's an intro. There's a sponsor message. There's the meat of the episode, where we are right now. And at the end, there's a call to action. This is a ritual. If you break it down, the whole thing is to establish trust. People like to know what they're getting. People like to know who they're getting it from. That's why these personal intros is not because I've got some kind of narcissism. I've got to let you know about my life. I mean, certainly I'm looking for things to talk about on this podcast, always looking. And when I go through something like I did with a dog trainer and I can pull marketing lessons out of that, I'm going to tell you that. But why do I tell you about the dog that I've got? About losing him, getting him back? Why do I tell you about the other dog that I've got? Special needs dog in renal failure, special diet, getting dialysis, he's blind, got to carry him down the steps. Well, that's so you can get to know me as a person, because I'm not just sharing info. I want you to know where I'm coming from. And because of that, hopefully, you're going to connect with that info a little bit better. You're going to understand the person delivering it, so you're going to understand that information a little bit better. Same for your clients. Your clients want to know what they're getting from you. You heard of EO Fire, Entrepreneur on Fire? Very popular podcast. It's actually the perfect podcast example, because if you go listen to Entrepreneur on Fire, same intro, same questions, same inflection, same energy. When I heard that podcast for the first time, I thought it was a recording. I thought, honestly, that they had taken this guy, had him record the questions, and popped in different answers from people. I thought it was all done in the studio. He had done the work once, and through editing, they'd swapped out the guest. So ritual, what are some areas in your business where you can establish ritual? You've got a coaching program. All the meetings need to be basically the same. The meat can be different, but the meetings themselves, they need to be the same. You see this in meetings all the time. Church services, basically the same meeting. Boy Scout meeting, if you go to a Boy Scout meeting, the same meeting every time. The meat changes, same meeting every time. Toastmasters, Freemasons, whatever kind of meetings that you're going to, board meetings, PTA, HOA association, there is a system that they have in place, and that's ritual. So how can you add those things to what it is that you do? Podcast, other content that you create. Here's another way that we see it. Systems. So if you've got something that you're teaching people in your business, you're an expert, you're trying to get them to do what it is that you do so well, to have a system that you have people follow. Instead of, John, your situation is like this, try this, and Becky, your situation is different, try this little tweak, and Julie, your situation is different, try this third tweak. You put everybody in a system. Approach it like this. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. When you can take people back to a system and simplify things, there's your ritual. Is that dumbing things down? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But if you make it too complicated, people are going to turn off. They're not going to pay attention. Come down to their level and then bring them up to yours. Don't have them start where you are. You're an expert. You've been doing this for a while. You understand this so much better than most people ever will. So make it easy. Ritualize it. Systematize it. Come down to their level. Bring them up to yours. Number 2, consistency. You ever been out, restaurant, grocery store, seen some badass kids acting up, being jerks, talking back? Well, a lot of that is because of inconsistency. And you'll see this a lot if you observe. You'll see a parent who's frustrated. Kid's having a meltdown in the grocery store. And she's like, Johnny, I'm going to count to 3. And you better be over here. 1, 2, 3. And she gets to what she says that she's going to do. She doesn't do anything. Well, that's being inconsistent with what she said she was going to do. Maybe she's done it once, maybe twice, but she's not following through. Consistency, doing the same thing every time, that lets people know that they can trust you. That lets people know that you're for real. Let me give you a few examples to do this. In podcasting, there's a debate in podcasting about this actually. Should you release episodes at the same time every week, every month, every day? You've got a weekly show, monthly show, daily show. Should you be consistent in the frequency that you choose? The argument for it is because it builds ritual. This is how all these connect together. For example, if you know the podcast that you like is going to come out at Monday at 6 a.m., maybe you listen Monday at 7 a.m. on your way to work. Now it's a ritual thanks to that consistency. If that podcast is late, the ritual is gone. You've messed it up. So that's the argument for consistency, is because it builds ritual. Works in a lot of ways. The bad kids example, those bad kids could also be your bad customers. When I was running a big music conference in Nashville, we would have thousands of submissions from people who wanted to showcase during this event. Every year we'd have 350, 400 acts showcase at this event. And because we were on a deadline, we would set a deadline for bands to send in their submission. For example, let's say the deadline was March 1st. If you did not have your package postmarked by March 1st, we wouldn't accept it. It was too late. That ship had already sailed. But a lot of times, because people wanted more submission, and you see this with conference registrations too, is what people will do is they'll come out on March 2nd and they'll say, hey, we've extended the deadline. We've extended the deadline. Send those submissions in. Send those registrations in. We've extended the deadline. Now, what does that do? Let's look at those two scenarios. The first scenario, if you cut people off on March 1st, tell them the ship has sailed, sorry, register earlier next year. When next year comes around, they're more likely to take action. But if you keep extending deadlines, and a lot of conferences do, it's very short-sighted, but it can get you some last-minute submissions, last-minute registrations. What's going to happen next year? Don't worry about it. They always extend the deadline. You've just trained your customer to wait to the last minute. And, perhaps more detrimental to you, you've trained your customer not to trust you. He can no longer believe what you say because you've said something, you've gone back on it. We see this all the time, not just with conferences, but special offers. Hey, if you buy now, $500 off. Get in now. Deadline's Friday. You go to them on Saturday. What the hell? I'll give you the special offer. Never do that. Never, ever do that. Always respect deadlines, even if it means not getting the sale. You'll get the sale later. And in the end, because you've respected deadlines, you're going to make a whole lot more money because customers know that you're serious and they know that they have to take action when you say. Another lesson from the dog trainer, surprise and interest. Talked about being consistent with your podcast release schedule. The flip side of that is have a random release schedule. It's sort of consistent. About every week or so, you're going to get something, for example, maybe like this podcast, but it's not the same day every week. It's like a slot machine. You get your payout someday, but it's probably not going to be at the exact time that you think that it is. Now, as far as podcasting, and this also includes email newsletters, either one of those, this can actually be a really good thing because when new episodes, new email newsletters are released or sent, they go to the top of the list. So that's a different kind of ritual that you're establishing. All of these things build upon themselves. I'm going to give you another story about ritual, consistency, and surprise, how to combine all three of those. We've got a vegan restaurant that I go to here in Nashville. I'm vegan in my house, outside of my house, vegetarian. I've been doing that for about 20 years. So there's a place in Nashville that I frequent It was started by a vegan chef. He thought to himself, this is my opportunity to share my love of food with all of Nashville. So what did he do? Started cooking up different stuff. And every time you would go, there would be something different on the menu. Never knew what you were going to get. That scares people. That's that surprise, but too much surprise. I mean, you knew it was vegan. You knew it was gluten-free. So it kind of had some boundaries. Wasn't like he was throwing a steak in there. But that wasn't enough. That's why I started off talking about ritual. Most people want to know what they're getting. If you go to church, you want to know that there's going to be a sermon in the middle of it. You want to know there's going to be a choir or a praise and worship band. You want to know there's going to be communion. You want to know what you need to wear. You want to know how you need to interact with people. People like ritual. They like standards. They like boundaries. This is why people like McDonald's. McDonald's, not the best food in the world, but you know what you're going to get when you go to a McDonald's. You know how to order. You know where the restrooms are. You know what's on the menu. So let's take it back to the vegan restaurant. You've got the ritual that most people respond to, and most people feel comfortable with, but you've also got a section of people that are into vegan food, and that's enough boundary for them. And they want to try new things. So what's the solution? Bookends. Bookends. He's got a few standard things that are on the menu every day. And you know that if you go to this restaurant, you can always get one of those things. But he can also explore different options for you to let him get his love of food out and share it with the world. And let you have that choice if you like it. And if you don't like it, you're safe. When I go to a yoga class, you got bookends. You got the beginning, the invocation to Patanjali. You've got the end, Shavasana. If you've ever been to a yoga class, corpse pose, all yoga classes end with a corpse pose. And in the middle, that's the meat. That's where they change things up. So you've got the ritual, you know what you're getting into. You've got the consistency, you know that you're going to get it every time. And you've got the surprise. You know that you're not going to be doing the same class again and again and again, like watching a video. Something for you to consider in your marketing. Let's take it back to that email newsletter. Is there a section of your email newsletter that you can have, a section of your podcast that you can have that's consistent, that people know is going to entertain them, inform them, make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel something, make them respond? So maybe they'll take a chance on the rest of it. It's a smart thing to do. I've got a syndicated radio show about the music industry. Here's how we do it. Every week, there's a different guest. Maybe you're interested in what this guest has to say. Maybe you're not interested in what he has to say. But at the end of every episode, we've got a section, we call it Dave's Demo Derby. This is where bands from around the country, around the world, send us demos, recordings, and have us review them on the air. So that is a section that is consistent through any episode of the show that you download, that you listen to on the air. And you can do that in your newsletter. You can do that in your podcast. So if you're wondering, hey, is this episode going to be interesting to people? It's going to be more interesting, and you're more likely to get downloads if you can put that segment that everybody likes within that episode. Number 4, lessons from a dog trainer. Be firm. People like dogs need to know what you want from them. Way too many experts think, oh, they know I've got something for sale, or they know what I do. They don't. You need to make it painfully obvious what you do and what you offer, because most people don't read between the lines. Now, I don't know what your relationship status is. Maybe you're married, maybe you're single, divorced. It doesn't matter. I guarantee you, at some point in your life, you have been interested in somebody else. And you thought that you were making it painfully obvious that you were interested in this person, and that person didn't respond. It could be because that person didn't like you. But more times than you would imagine, more times than people think, it's because that person had no idea that you were interested in them. You're not making it obvious. And we don't do that in our business. We don't make it obvious that, yes, you need to come to this event. Download this podcast. Give me a review. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to my email newsletter. You've got to be firm in what you ask people. You've got to be clear in your message and firm in how you say it. Make it painfully obvious. This goes back to ritual. We like to know what we're getting. In the previous episode, when I was talking about how this works for celebrities, Kathy Griffin, Ted Nugent, I mentioned my friend in the club where there's this creepy guy in the club licking everybody's fingers. Creepy to me. My friend, she wasn't creeped out at all because she knew what she was getting. The dude had shown up in a suit. Maybe he's looking like a frat guy. Yeah, that would have been creepy. But when he showed up looking like a creep, and he was really obvious about his creepiness, she knew what she was getting, wasn't freaked out about it at all. So go back and listen to that last episode if you're curious about the full story, about how that relates to celebrities, how that relates to you. You can get away with a lot of bad behavior if your approach is right. So one more lesson from the dog trainer for you. Let people know what you expect. You need to have a set of rules for working together. Also, being very specific about what you give. Number of calls, number of meetings, length of calls, length of meetings. Here are the deliverables. Here's when they're going to come. Being very specific, letting people know what to expect. That's going to set you up to win. Then, don't break the rules. Be consistent. Don't be the person that extends that deadline to where the deadline doesn't matter. Here's another thing. Don't leave it up to them. Don't ask them what they think. People are looking for a leader. That's why people hire you. They want an expert. You're the guy who has the answer. Don't leave it up to them. If you do give them a choice, A or B, you could be nice about this, but don't just throw the ball in their court, let them do whatever they want to. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, soon. Yeah, whenever. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Reminds me of a date when I was a teenager. A friend of mine set me up with this girl. And the whole date was, hey, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, I don't care. What do you want to do? And more or less, we drove around for 2 or 3 hours. Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? Nothing got accomplished. Nothing at all. Let them know what you expect. Let them know what you want. Ask for what you want. They can say no. Be firm in your delivery and let them know what you expect. If you've got questions or comments about how to use any of these things, feel free to reach out to me at David Hooper on Twitter is the best way to do that. Next episode, Jeff Goins has a new book. It's called Real Artists Don't Starve. This is a great book. I was super excited to read it, working in the entertainment industry for as long as I have, working with experts, working with people to make a living off of their ideas, become authority just based on their personality. I had a lot of thoughts on this. It's a really good book. It's got great lessons for experts. I'm going to share some of those with you. So don't buy this book until you hear my thoughts on that. That is on the next episode. Is it for you? You'll find out. How to find out? Make sure you subscribe to Red Podcast. To do this, go to redpodcast.com. Look in the top left corner. Choose your poison. You're on an Apple iPhone. Got you covered. There's a button for you. One click is all it takes. You're on an Android. Gotcha. However you listen to podcasts, one button is all it takes for you to make sure that you never miss an episode. Go to redpodcast.com. Look in the top left corner. Thank you so much for listening. And by the way, if you've got a rescue dog, if you've got a story of adopting a rescue dog, I would love to hear it. Hit me up, Twitter, at David Hooper. Send me a picture of your dog. Let me know about him. I'll see you on the next episode.
You've been listening to Red Podcast. Never miss an episode. Subscribe now with your iPhone, Android, or via RSS at redpodcast.com.